Welcome back to Canada's Blonde Moment. Welcome back to Canada's Blonde Moment. I'm TJ.
And I'm Chrissy. Today we're covering a case that has haunted the true crime community for years. A case filled with unanswered questions, cryptic evidence, and a suspect whose arrest only led to more mystery.
Oh, yeah. You guys, we're talking about the Delphi murders, the tragic case of Abigail, otherwise known as Abby Williams, and Liberty, otherwise known as Libby German, two young girls who set out for an afternoon hike and never came home. Their deaths shocked the small town of Delphi, Indiana, and the chilling clues they left behind turned this case into one of the most talked about unsolved murders in recent history.
But the big question still remains: does the police have the right guy? Is Richard Allen really responsible? Or is there more to this case than meets the eye?
Right, now stick with us as we
Mm.
dive deep into the details. You guys, the evidence, the theories, and the secrets that might finally come to justice.
Before we got into the details, Before we go into the details of what happened on February 13th, 2017, let's take a moment to talk about who Abby and Libby are.
Oh, absolutely. Abby Williams
Mm.
was 13 years old. She was a fun loving, creative, and adventurous girl. She loved art, photography, and playing the saxophone in her school band. She lived with her mom, Anna Williams, and had a very close knit group of friends who just simply adored her, Chrissy.
Yeah. Now, Libby German, 14, was her best friend. She was smart, outgoing, and athletic. She played softball, loved science, and had dreams of working in forensics one day. Sh like,
Mm,
so sad.
yeah,
She lived with her grandparents, Mike and Becky Patty, and was known for always standing up for what was right.
that's right. And the funny thing, she had said that, she'd love to work in forensics. And do you know that it was actually Libby's phone that they found that had the video that led them to who may or may not, um, well, who at
Have
least was
done this,
arrested for, yeah, for their murders. So
right?
now the two
Well, good.
girls were inseparable, Chrissy. And on that faithful
Mm.
February afternoon, they just wanted to enjoy a day off from school, exploring the trails near Monon High Bridge in Delphi.
So it was around 1:35 p.m. on February 13th, 2017, when Abby and Libby were dropped off at the Monterey High Bridge by Libby's older sister, Kelsey. Now, it was a beautiful day, unreasonably warm for February, and the girls were excited to take pictures and enjoy the outdoors. You could just imagine, like, let's go out.
Right?
Let's
Like
have
good
a beautiful
girls,
day.
hiking, having fun, girls being girls, right?
So sad.
Yeah. And then at 2:07 p.m., Libby posted a Snapchat photo of Abby walking on the bridge. It was the last confirmed image of them alive.
Now, at some point after that, something went terribly wrong. When the girls didn't show up to their prearranged pickup spot later that afternoon, panic set in. Family and friends immediately started searching. By the next day, their bodies were discovered about a half mile from the bridge near Deer Creek.
And their deaths were quickly ruled homicides. But details about how they were killed were tightly guarded by police. Even today, the exact cause of death has never been publicly released.
That's gives me chills. Like, how bad was it that they didn't release any information on that?
Right?
Now, this is where the case takes a turn, unlike any other, because Libby, in an act of sheer bravery, managed to record their killer.
Right, that's right. On her phone, police discovered a short video clip of a man in a blue jacket and blue jeans walking across the bridge towards them. He became known as Bridge Guy. So this went all over. It was all over the internet, all over social media. It was everywhere. Bridge Guy.
Even more chilling, the audio recording.
Yeah, that voice, right? Down the hill, right? Three simple words that may have come from a killer.
This evidence should have cracked the case wide open, but it didn't. Instead, the investigation dragged on for years, frustrating the public and the victims' families.
Oh, yeah. Like over the years, multiple sketches of potential suspects were released, each looking vastly different from one another, and law enforcement remained tight lipped, like leaving the public grasping at straws.
Now, there was countless theories. Was it a stranger? Was it someone from town? Could it have been more than one person? Some believe the crime was,
Ritualistic.
thank you.
Yeah. No, I don't know where you
It's
were going with it, but I remember reading that
it's
word like so many times.
yeah, it's just now others speculated it was linked to a larger trafficking ring.
Yeah. Well, then in October 2022, after nearly 6 years of silence, police finally made an arrest. Richard Allen, a Delphi resident who was charged with the murders.
Now, here's what we know about Richard Allen. He was a 50-year-old pharmacy technician at CVS, a married father, and someone who lived in Delphi for years.
What's more shocking though, like he wasn't some outsider, Chrissy. He actually even processed photos for Libby's family after the murders, like for free.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, the police claim he admitted to being on the bridge that day, but here's where things get messy.
Oh, not just messy. Like the arrest affidavit suggests that an unspent bullet found near the bodies was tied to a gun owned by Allen. But beyond that, like the evidence is vague.
Ugh. Now, Allen's defense attorneys argue that he's being framed, possibly as part of a larger conspiracy. They even suggested Odonism, an obscure pagan belief, as a potential motive from other suspects.
Like, can you picture like them at what sacrificing them? Like, you know what I mean? You know,
No,
right? This
that's
guy, I mean,
insane.
they were saying that, a lot of the witnesses were saying it was like a guy in his mid-20s, tall, strong, right? Richard Allen is short, kind of chunkier, in his 50s, you know? So,
Yeah, total opposite.
yeah, like, is Allen guilty or is he a scapegoat for a botched investigation?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Now, the Delphi case is still unfolding. There are still so many unanswered questions. If Alan is guilty, will we ever get the full truth? And if he's innocent, then who really killed Abby and Libby?
right. And the thing
Mm,
is he actually had like a jail cell mate. And this guy actually came out and had said that Alan actually admitted, he confessed to the murders. Now, the reason that they believe this guy is because Alan had apparently told this guy that he had ended up killing the girls with one of those box knife cutters.
okay,
And none of that information was released that that is actually how the girls,
that's
what they were killed with.
right.
So, because this guy had come out and said that Alan did it, now, unfortunately, I mean, where we go from here, I mean, did they arrest the wrong guy? But, going mystery. So,
That's the worst part. No closure, right, for the family.
yeah, which they deserve. I mean,
Absolutely.
these girls deserve justice. And we're not going to stop talking about this case until they get it. It's just, how do they get it? Shouldn't the cops um, the police have to be more accountable. They have to show exactly why they believe. I mean, it's one guy who may have wanted a lesser sentence. I mean, he didn't come out.
Era yes, I was gonna say that too.
It's
But if
just,
he had if he had more details, that would have been a lot better.
yeah,
Like, things
yeah. I mean, I guess that
and
coming out, I mean, I'm sure the families, would like to think that, they did get the right guy. Who knows? It's just, here's where we sit. And, our hearts go out to all three. Well, to the wife. I mean, if the husband did it, I mean, the wife didn't know. I mean, that's still really sad. But mainly, like the two girls, your families, your friends, like our hearts really go out. I mean, it took them 7 years, 7 years later,
that's crazy.
and they had
That's
really nothing to go off of.
yeah,
One
that's
video of
super.
Bridge Guy, you know,
Yeah, and really, if it obviously it wasn't enough
no, I mean, they ended
to
up that, he got charged with the two murders. I mean, he did get charged, but, you know, um, were they ever 100% sure that they got the right guy? How do you know for sure?
exactly.
There was no DNA, there was nothing left. He actually owned some of the property, so one of his gun shells could be on the property,
From
right?
exactly.
But,
Yeah,
um,
and that holds for a good defense on his end for sure, if
yeah,
it
there
was his
was
property.
yeah,
But then again, it can go both ways, like, it's on his property, so
yeah, but
bringing
it
the
was like
girls
a public
there.
area. Do you know what I mean? Like the
Right,
last video they had, they were on the bridge, and then they do hear them, and some man says, like, you do hear the voice saying down the hill, as we had showed you. But I mean, that was just, and she said there's no path, but do we know? We don't,
right,
right? We don't.
r
So,
right.
I mean, he could have just been pointing them in a direction where then we don't know.
Go on to his property where he is well known, like, he knows it well.
Yeah, knowing that there was a path down there, and then this other, guy in his 20s or 30s could have been down there, the one that witnesses claim that they saw, right?
Exactly.
Alan, when like
Yes.
if he doesn't look like a young 20-year-old man. You know what I mean?
Right.
He
Yeah,
right? You're not gonna confuse him with being tall and muscular and young, right? We're
when he's
seeing
a total opposite.
yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, guys,
Yeah,
we're gonna
if you
still
have
follow this case.
yeah, yeah, we definitely keep it updated for sure.
Yeah.
Now, if you have any thoughts on this case, let us know, follow us, share this episode, and keep the conversations going.
Absolutely. And until next time, guys, stay safe, stay aware, and never stop searching for the truth.
We are so glad you came. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye now. Bye. Bye bye.
That was Canada's Blonde Moment, and I am out.